Hello everyone, this is Yudi, and today we are going to interview Irvin John, the CEO of the Fitness Journal and the business sport elite, and he's also a fitness entrepreneur and YouTube. So John, introduce yourself first.
Yes, thank you, Jack. First of all, name is Irvin John. People on social media do know me as Irvin Felix John, but Irvin John is my name. I try and shy away from the word entrepreneur, not for personal reasons, but I am a fitness entrepreneur. Yes, right now, but that is not all I want to do. But let me just give you a quick rundown. Irvin John, I was born in Boston. I grew up in Asia, Guam to be exact. So that was my upbringing. I spent almost a decade there, almost 10 years, just traveling. Went to school. That's where I graduated from middle school. Then from there, I moved over here for 10 months. Then I moved to the Caribbean. I stayed there for 3 years, Grenada. Then I came back up here. I moved to Alabama. I went to college there. I studied computer science.
Oh, nice.
So this is where like my real passion for fitness really began. I was doing computer science, but while I was there, I started working out. And while we started to work out over there, I started to see some results. I grew up doing martial arts, so I've always been in shape. But this is where I'm like, oh, I can actually make money. I can make a career out of fitness. So I started training people while I was there at school, and I started to not pay attention too much to my computer science homework, and I started training people while I was there. And before I left, I was making a little bit of money training people. And I'm like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. I didn't realize this can actually be. I didn't know what a personal trainer was. I just knew that you have to have a job, you have to do the 9 to 5, you have to find a high-paying job like computer science or be a doctor or something, and that's the only way to make money. But after that, I moved back up here. I got certified. I was working at the YMCA as a summer camp counselor, working with the kids and whatnot. And then soon after, about spending a year there, I took calisthenics and fitness very, very, very seriously. I started traveling and teaching and coaching people around. I spent some time in the UK as well. And that's where I realized, oh man, this is what I'm going to do.
Nice.
This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So, what are you working for right now? And what's your daily routine like?
Okay, so as far as fitness or like my general routine, for 2020 I'm going to be changing some stuff up, but right now I try and wake up every morning at 6:30. It doesn't always happen. I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
6:30?
I try to wake up at 6:30 and get my day started by just laying in my bed for about 30 minutes to actually wake up. So I just lay there and I meditate. I do some deep breathing until about 7 o'clock, and I read. So I don't get out of my bed until I read. So I have usually I try and finish one book. Either I do Audible or I have a book and I just let the audio play, or I actually read it. I do find for me actually reading the words are more efficient, but if I don't have time, I'll listen to the audio book, and that way I can get through a book a lot quicker. Yeah. So I'll read, and then I'll go on to reading emails while I'm still in my bed. So I'll read a book, I'll read whatever chapter I have to read, then I'll actually read my emails and I'll respond to all the emails. I don't procrastinate. I'm not going to say I'm going to read the email and then get up and do what I do and then come back. So when I say do these things first, I actually finish it, do it through completion. So if I get an email, I read it, I respond, and then I get to doing my task for the day that I've outlined for myself. So I'll just, from priority, the most urgent things, I'll work on that, and I'll really try and spend my whole day working on those things. Because as your own boss, you don't have to answer to anybody, but at the same time, you have clients, you have customers who you have to fulfill the services and whatever things that you said you're going to do as the business owner. Otherwise, you lose credibility, you lose business.
And so, you mentioned you have the fitness journal. Can you introduce this? Okay,
so definitely the fitness journals is more so my personal brand, and that actually, while I was in Grenada, while I was living down there, I don't know how it really came to me. I just wanted to share, document my story, like a journal. Nice. So to me, it was more personal as far as like my fitness journal.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm going to document and say, this is what I'm doing, share my story, and hopefully someone can be inspired by it and, they can share their story as well through a journal. So the whole concept behind the fitness journals was to share my story, hear other people's story, and like just help inspire each other and motivate each other. And that was really the idea behind it. And then I incorporated it. I actually made it a business while I was working at the YMCA. I saved up like $1,000 to incorporate it as an LLC to actually make it a business. I didn't know how I was going to make money doing it. I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I just want to do it officially and have, you know, the tax ID and all those fancy stuff, whatever it is. I'm like, I actually want to do it the right way. So I did that. I incorporated it. I started only after people begged me to make programs. That's when I made my first program. And I'm like, I don't really know how to do it. Yes, I'm certified. And this is what I want to stretch on as well, is just because someone is certified doesn't mean they actually know what they're doing. You know, I mean, that's for a different topic. But a lot of people think, oh, once they have the credentials, once they have the document, they're the expert. Not the case. No. You know, you have to further, if you really are serious about it, you're going to be in your books reading and actually applying. And because if you're doing it to help people and not just for the money, you're going to want to improve your skills and your knowledge so you can actually get people to the destination they want to go. So yeah, I did that. But I wasn't too confident making programs, but people would see what I do on social media and they're like, hey, make me a program. So I made like a generic program while I was in Grenada again. And I had traveled back. I went back to spend some time and just hang out and do some training and whatnot down there. And I made a program, a muscle building program. The first day, like, it sold nothing sold. But then I'm like, follow up. And this is another very key principle, which I know we're going to get to later. But following up is important. Yeah. Sometimes people might want something, but if you don't follow up with them, they have so much stuff going on. You have to follow up. So the people who I had like 200 subscribers or whatever. So I literally would go to the people who I would see leave comments on my video, and the people who said, hey, where are you going to make a program? The fact that they asked me means they're interested. So I reached out to them, and those are the first people who bought my program ever.
Nice, very nice.
So that's what the Fitness Journal is, my personal fitness brand.
So do you have a team right now? For your business? Or?
No, okay, so for Business Body Elite, Business Body Elite is a different thing than, so I'll explain real quick what Business Body Elite is. Business Body Elite, we create comprehensive wellness programs for the employees of organizations. So helping employers keep their employees not just fit and healthy, but of course it's a business. Healthcare costs here in America is astronomical. So as you'll see, and especially getting into the workforce, the amount of money that is spent on healthcare in opposed to like any other thing, really in general, is like, why are we paying this much for healthcare? Yeah. So seeing that, and most of the stuff are modifiable health risks. It's not genetic or something you were born with. It's things that come about, the diseases that we get from our lifestyle habits. Yes. So seeing that, yeah, and a lot of people like, oh, I don't have time, and I understand, you know, you go to work, you've been at work all day, you come home and you're like, I gotta cook, I gotta do, yeah, and you're like, I don't have time, and I understand that, and especially if people don't see it as something that's truly important because they don't have the knowledge and understanding to see if you don't take care of your health, this is what will happen, it's inevitable. So we take, it's more of like a preventative approach. We create the programs, whether it's diabetes education, cancer education, fitness education, whatever it is, and we implement different campaigns to help employers combat these health risks and reduce it. So for that, I have a team. For my own thing, I'm kind of like, you know, I want this to be my thing, and if I do need, I like to film my videos and hold my camera. I like that, you know, I like to be hands-on with that. I like to edit. I know how I want to edit my videos for my YouTube. I know how to make my programs and how to present it to the people who want it. So for that, not really. And then I have Let's Do Some Pull-Ups. That's another organization who now I've partnered up with. I've brought partners on with that one. That's more of like a clothing brand that we started. So I gave majority percentage. Sorry. Okay. Let me just put that on mute. Okay. Yeah, I gave majority percentage to two of my close friends, and so I have a team for that as well, which we're going to be expanding that team even more. We're going to have videographers and whatnot for 2020, and just people who kind of want to get their feet wet in like calisthenic fitness entrepreneurship.
Okay. So
yeah.
Do you think how can we make a good workplace culture? Like, what's your culture? What's your team's culture?
Okay. Yeah. So and I love that because culture. This is what we really focus on when we go into organizations, right? Is not just not creating a new culture. It's plugging in these very helpful components into the existing culture. So number one, you always have to know what your values are, your core values, your mission. Yeah, if you don't have a mission and a vision and core value for your organization, it doesn't make sense. So we have 10 core values that we follow. For our organization personally, not the other ones we work with, but we have it on our website. So we always want to like promote and show that to prospects, so they understand this is what we believe in. Maybe you guys believe in the same thing, and it's more of like a synergistic relationship, and it makes things a lot easier. It's not just like transactional, like, hey, you pay us, we do this, you get what you want, we get what we want. It's more of like a relationship building thing to show, hey, we really care. We want to show you that we really care, and that can only be shown genuinely if that starts with what we do first. So we want to show not just the features and, hey, this is cool, we make this for you. We want to show like the personality and the energy. Sometimes people don't care about that, but we rather err on the side of saying, hey, we're going to show you that we are serious. We have a real passion. We're not money driven. We're passionate to see people improve their health, their wellness, longevity. Because here's a saying I have. I'm like, anyone who downplays the importance of wellness has never been in good enough shape to understand the benefits. So once you've been well and you've been strong and you've been healthy, there's no way that you can say it's not even that, it doesn't even feel that good to me anyway. There's no way you'll say that. It's impossible. Once you feel strong and healthy and well, you can sleep and wake up rejuvenated, you're not going to say, I'd rather be unfit, I'd rather be unhealthy. You're not going to say that.
Cool. Nice. So right now I'm going to graduate soon, and I'm looking for a job right now. So do you have any suggestion for me?
Number one is don't be afraid to work. It doesn't matter what type of people like, I want to get right into being an entrepreneur. I want to get right into being a boss. I want to get right into hiring people and being CEO. No, I would not to say like there's outliers, people who that can do that and it just works perfectly for them. I would always recommend build your business on someone else's experience and their dollar. Like, if you can go and get a job, you can now save money. You're working for somebody, right? You're working for somebody. That means either whether they started the company or not, they know how to manage a team. They know how to run a business. That's what they're doing. Ask the questions, and not just that. Try and level up within whatever job you have. Try and level up within your job. So, one thing that I would always do is ask. I would always ask. Really, what needs to be done? What do I need to do? What needs to be done to push this company forward? And after I would be able to prove that, I would say, hey, you know what? One day I want to be working right under you. I wouldn't tell them I'm going to take their job, but that was the goal. But I'm like, one day I want to be working right under or side by side with you. What would it take for me? What kind of acts and requirements would it take for me to where I am now? I just walked in the door, new employee, you don't know if I'm capable. What would it take for me to get from where I am now to
your place?
To your place? What would that take? And once they tell you, chances are, if they're really genuine, and otherwise you can figure it out yourself. But once you've planted that seed in their mind, they're like, oh, this person is here to actually really work. And discipline for working with somebody else, very important. Because you have to get the job done. When you're working for yourself, it's kind of like you're like, I know I have to, but I really don't have to. It's like, I know I have to do it, but it's not like I'm going to get fired. You're not going to get fired from yourself if you're working for yourself. That's kind of like you try and play mental tricks with yourself. And working for somebody else, it's like, I don't want to lose my job. I want to be viewed as someone who's reliable and you can come to me when I know, look, there's something that needs to be done, the go-to person. And after you start getting these things done that you're asking, hey, give me something to do, give me tasks that need to be done, you're going to be the go-to person when they're like, hey, every time I give you something to do, you finish it and you finish it good. You don't just finish it and like, here, I'm going to just do the bare minimum, and you do it to the best of your ability. And you know when you're giving half. You know when you're not doing all you can do. So you got to be, number one, being honest with yourself and looking for learning experiences. So you know one day either you want to own your own business or whatever, you have to be actively looking while you're there, actively looking for those certain experiences that you can apply to your own, you know. And the only way you can do that is if you're actively looking. Because you can be seeing all the great things taking place, see your CEO go and raise $1 million for something, and you're like, oh cool, they just got $1 million for whatever it is they got $1 million for. If you're not actively looking, you're not going to actually know how they got there. I think that's
it's okay. No problem. So do you think what's the most important part in a resume?
Most important part in a resume, well, quite frankly, is obviously the job that whatever job you're going to. If you're trying to become a computer scientist, you're trying to become a trainer at a gym, relevant information, obviously. Yeah. So if you're trying to become a computer scientist and a job, you want to do computer science at whatever job they need it at, and you have no experience, you're not, everything on your resume is like, not related to the job you want at all, chances are you're not. If you're like, I'm a hard worker, I never quit, I don't give up. That's good, and all those are good traits to have. But no, I need you. If you're signing up for a job, have relevant skills to the job you're trying to sign up for. So number one is if there's a job, if you're going towards a specific job that you want, find out what the requirements are of that job first. Find the adequate requirements and experience. If you have to volunteer, if you have to do that, if you have to volunteer somewhere to put that on your resume, do that. And always, number one is the connections, the people, because when they have to call for the recommendations, finding people who very honestly speak very highly of you is very important. That could be the biggest difference. Your resume might not be the prettiest and have all the cool credentials on it, but if the people who you're working for, when they call, the person you're trying to get hired by, they call that person, like, oh, I would not go with anybody else. Every time, something needs to be done at the last minute, Jack comes through and he kills it every time. He's better than every employee in here. Like, if you're hearing that, you're like, oh, well, honestly, he might not have all the requirements as far as like the credentials and stuff. So being very, very specific and intentional in letting the people who you're working for, know, hey, in the future, like after it's time for you to exit, in the future, I hope, because you got to think with the end in mind. In the future, I hope if I come back to this person, they're not going to say, oh no, we left on bad terms. So always like keeping it in mind to keep the relationships and your network very strong. Hey, hit them up every now and then. Hey, how you doing? Not for anything like specific, not to ask them for a favor, just like make sure. So I would say the number one thing, it might not sound like the best answer, but for me, having the ability for people to speak highly of you because of the work you've done is very important. So in a nutshell, I would say have the relevant information, the relevant experience for the job that you want to get, and keeping that network strong. That's really the two major things.
Nice. So can you talk about like what's your plan for the next 3 years?
Okay, yeah, definitely. And it's very important, the 10-year plan, right? Yeah. My girl always kind of like reminds me of this. I worked on my 10-year plan back in 2015, and even now when the last time I looked at it, I'm like, wow, so much has changed. And I realize if you're not consistently reminding yourself of what these goals are and having micro goals to lead up to that, you're not going to achieve it. So my personal goals for business, professional, and personal goals, let's say for 2020 right now, we'll start with that.
For next year?
Yeah, for this coming year right now, 2020 is have, because I just posted this on Instagram, 10,000 active online members. So we have a membership, we have a subscription model for Business Body Elite. So we want to have 10,000 monthly users at $39.99 per month. So 10,000 people paying $39.99 per month.
Oh, nice.
That's for the our online platform. So that's like the main thing. The next one is have 30 organizations on our roster that we're working with 100 or more employees. That's the goal to have that. That's due for 2020. And get capital, get funding. Hopefully it could be $1 million, $1 million funding. I'm currently working with someone who's like my mentor and coaching me.
Yeah.
He's in the real estate sector, and also online he has a media company. So right now I'm very eager to work with somebody there, because now I have to answer to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working for myself, but I still have to answer to somebody, like, hey, why did you do this? And like my manager, she helps me with that too. Like she texting me right now, hey, what's up for today? Did you do this? I didn't talk to you yesterday. Did you? So I might be the boss, but you need a team, and that's what will help you achieve those goals. So my thing, those are my major goals. Down the road, next 3 to 5 years, I want to own a couple of properties, whether it's units where I can rent out, so like 100, 150 units. Obviously, I want to have more than that, but that's like just what it is right now, 100 units. Hopefully, they could be paying anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 monthly per unit, and that's like, because right now, like I'm using this to fund my real, like my entrepreneur journey, like as a serial entrepreneur, investing in other things, and eventually I want to help other organizations, other small companies with their startups and whatnot. So that really is before my goals used to be, hey, I want to have 1 million followers on Instagram, and I'm like, that my sites have kind of changed. I don't know if you noticed, I haven't been posting as much on social media, on Instagram and YouTube, because I'm like, yes, that could give me a return, a good return if I'm really focusing on it, but I'm really like the passion that I get from actually seeing people face to face and working with them. But I will be documenting that on my YouTube, which gives me more content and more learning experience. So of course, one of my goals for the next 3 to 5 years again is to get 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and hopefully 1 million. Not hopefully. I don't say hopefully. I say I make the plan and I make it work. So to get 1 million followers on Instagram, just to spread the impact and show people, look, man, it doesn't matter what your circumstances were before. Nice. Like I shot a video in 2017, showing my bank account. Negative like $3,000, showing people, guys, this is gonna be the last year that this looks like this. And I went from that to making $10,000 a month, and then I lost that because I started making money, and I'm like, oh, let me go and spend. I started buying shoes. I was about to buy one of my dream cars and everything. Lost all of that because there was no discipline, no structure, no function, no real long-term goals. Yeah, and without that, it's kind of like, once you make a little bit of money, you get creative and find ways to get rid of it as quickly as you can. So that's my goals, is to save money, expand my company, and just help people, man. That's really everything comes down to helping people. That's really my above all is to help people. That's what it is.
Watching your video.
I appreciate it, bro. And that's how we met, man. We met from social media.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
So can you talk about what's the biggest challenge that you have made so far, and how do you overcome it? Just one.
Yeah, okay, so above all, this is like number one, which everyone will encounter this, is feeling like you're gonna, like you need to quit, or like there's nowhere else you can go. You feel like there's nothing I can do to change, like you're stuck, and there's nothing you can do to move yourself from there. So overcoming that challenge of feeling like you hit a wall and you can't get over it no matter what you do, you have to know at that moment, like if there's any time to think like I'm not gonna quit, it's at that moment. It's the moment where you feel like there's nothing else you can do.
Mm-hmm.
But that can only come, and now the overcoming part is knowing, why am I doing it? What is the reason why I'm going after this goal so hard?
Yeah.
You have, and if your why holds enough significance and value, nothing can stop you from going after it. Nothing, no matter what the challenge, or you could be. But I think of the worst thing that can happen to you, and you're like, I can't get past this.
Yeah.
And if you quit, you didn't want it that bad. You didn't want the goal that you were going after. You didn't have a significant enough why. Imagine you have kids, and your kids, if you don't go after your thing that you need to go after, they die. Imagine that. When you quit,
no.
Yeah, it's like, well, if you quit, your kids die. They didn't ask to be here. They didn't, like, think of something that if you quit, your mom dies or whatever. Something like, I think in that extreme, because I'm like, I want my future kids, my mom, my dad to be taken care of, all that stuff forever. And to me, I'm like, if I quit, that's disrespectful to everybody who believes in me. So you've got to feel like that, and it could be overwhelming sometimes. You could feel depressed. You can, to the extreme, because this is why I say this isn't for everybody. Like there's been times where I've even, like, the thought has entered my mind, like, this is terrible. I have all these bills I owe thousands of dollars on. I can't eat. I've been hungry. My stomach hurts. Yeah. 3 days, no food. I can't, even if I wanted to eat, I'm like, I don't have money to go and buy food. Counting pennies. It might sound crazy, but I'm not even exaggerating. Finding, change from around the house and saying, but the fact that I have a house over my head, and a roof over my head, I'm like, you have more than you need to get where you need to go than a lot of people do. And that, to me, is the greatest challenge, is bringing things, like, not letting reality escape you, not saying like, oh, well, I'm going to be a billionaire anyway, so no, you bring this is where I am now, and remember that if you could get over that challenge, if you could get over the challenge that you think is going to break you, nothing can stop you. You got to know, this is preparing me for real success and real challenges. So every time, if you're like, I can't go past this, and this is, I always say, it's just a warm-up. Yeah. This is always the warm-up. The worst thing that you're going through right now is warming you up for the next big thing. Because chances are there's going to be something that will surpass what you think is an unbeatable challenge. And now you've learned something. If you beat that challenge, if you get over that, you've learned something that you didn't know before. Because the fact that you met that resistance means there's something, like, you're like, I met this resistance and it's taken me so much to get over it. You're learning something now. Because if you hit that challenge and you just got over it, that means you already knew how to combat it and conquer it. But if you have to learn and do things and fight mentally and do certain things you've never done before, now you've learned a new skill. You've developed more discipline, more willpower to get over the next big thing. So, in a nutshell, once again, I always like to bring it back. The biggest challenge is saying, I really can't do this anymore. And overcoming it is knowing why you're doing it, the reason why you're doing it, and knowing once you overcome this challenge, you're going to be more readily equipped for bigger and bigger and bigger things. Nice. Then you can take on more, you can make more money, you can become more successful, make a bigger impact, and you become unstoppable after that.
Like do the last rep better than the
first. Absolutely. That's the best way to sum it up. And I just want to say as well is, if it wasn't for calisthenics is what made me so determined and disciplined in business. Like, if it wasn't for calisthenics, saying calisthenics, doing those reps and saying, no, I have to finish it. And when you get over that and you feel so good, you're like, man, and you feel like, how you feel. You do calisthenics and you work out hard too. Yeah. So you understand, like, you weren't able to do something before and you do it and you're like, wow, this feels good.
So motivated.
Absolutely. And to that, like, that's why anyone who I'm like, if you're into fitness, any realm of fitness, but for me, I can relate specifically to calisthenics. If you can do calisthenics and be good at it, you can do anything. You really can.
Yeah.
You really can't. It's a different type of willpower, mental discipline, especially once you start to apply that mindset to any area in life. You can't be stopped. You win.
So right now you're on YouTube. So do you have any suggestions for someone who wants to be a YouTube, like to be a fitness YouTuber?
Yeah. Number one, I would say know what you're talking about, because I mean, as you know, like with my YouTube, I'm very based on science. I'm a lot into the science, but I don't try and make it sound too sciencey.
Yeah.
Because I want people to, at the simple level, understand but still get educated. A lot of people get on social media. A lot of people get on social media and they get a following, but they really don't know what they're talking about. They try and stay in the limelight, and stay relevant, and the fame and all that by making themselves sound smart. So what I would say for the first thing first, be honest. Like, be honest. If you don't know something, you don't know it. Don't pretend to know it. Yeah, don't, and like, hey, guys, this is YouTube. We're on a journey together. If that's what type of channel you want to do, but after, like, you're going to school for something specific, a lot of people think about how you're paying tuition, right? You have to pay to go to school. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
How many people do you think majority of people have access? A large percentage of people have access to the things you're studying in school?
Not really.
Not exactly. Not really. You can become the expert by saying, "Hey, you know what I learned today? You guys might not know this. I'm going to share with you." And you, by you sharing that, you become an expert in something specific. I would say choose something. Choose a niche that you're good at. Something you don't have to be the best, just better than
normal.
Yeah, the average person. Like, you know a little bit more than the average person. Listen, if people are asking you questions already, so if people kind of look at you and deem you to be expert in something, listen to what they're asking you. Say, okay, hey, Jack, how do I do more push-ups? If people are asking you that stuff already, chances are other people out there want to know that. So you simply start by answering those questions. If people are asking you something, answer those questions. A lot of people try and like start a YouTube by just vlogging. People don't care. Nobody cares. No, yeah. Who are you? Are you Chris Brown? Are you The Rock? No one wants to hear about, hey guys, this morning I woke up and I ate. Nobody cares. Like, if that's how you're starting, trying to start your YouTube, it's probably not going to work well off the bat like that. But now, I'm not saying in every case, some people are just so entertaining the way they make a vlog. It's like, oh man, this person lit up my day. That was the funniest vlog I ever seen. But if you know that's not you, find something that you're good at.
Yeah.
Like I said, you don't have to be the best. Find something you're good at and start with that. Make it as small as a niche as possible. Like for me, my thing was the human flag. When I started, I was like really just posting. I even made a Instagram, Jeff for the human flag, and I was like documenting my human flag journey. A lot of people, like the first video that I got known for was a video that I forgot the name of the page on YouTube posted, and it got like over 1 million views, and like that's when people like really start, hey, the human flag, hey, talk about the human flag. And then I started getting more into like the weighted calisthenics. And that's where people were, yo, your physique is crazy. You look like you lift weights, but you're strong and you can do everything that small guy is doing calisthenics. And that's what people would ask me questions about. Yeah. So I started like expanding based on what people would ask me. That's that. So bring it full circle again. Action steps. What do you do if you want to start a YouTube? Start with something you're good at, number one. Identify, what am I good at and how can I help other people do the same thing?
Okay.
That's like the main thing. Be consistent. I mean, like if you want to start a YouTube, and I would say like try and shoot a bunch of topics at once and then like spread it out to upload. And know that you're not gonna, now you can't just get paid off of YouTube just like that. You have to have 4,000 hours of watch time. And then you have to have, I think, a minimum of 1,000 subscribers. If you're just doing it for the money, like they say with anything, you're probably not going to stick to it. Just know, like, look, I'm helping people. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm really here trying to help people, whether it's improve their fitness or make them laugh, entertain them. I like to do all that. So if you see my YouTube, it's kind of like I put like these skits in it and make a little bit of jokes every now and then, but it's like just natural. That's how I am. So people are like, yo, you're funny. but it's like you're not trying to be funny, but that's why it's funny. And so, you know, and help lightening people's day. If that's what you're good at, just find what you're good at, be consistent, know why you're doing it. Once again, this is, you know, it is a business. So think about YouTube as a business. You're starting a YouTube channel, you're starting a business. If you want it to pay you like a job, you got to put in the type of work like it's a job.
Yeah.
See? So that's how for anyone trying to start YouTube, know what you're good at, know your why, be consistent, don't just do it for the money.
Really good suggestions. And the last question. Okay. How do you compare the calisthenics and the gym workout? And which one is better, or which one is you will recommend to others?
Good question, great question. Because people think because Irvin doesn't lift weights, or he's not a weightlifting guy, he's opposed to weightlifting. No, I am pro movement, pro fitness, pro exercise. If you despise calisthenics, it has nothing to do with me. But if you love swimming, if you despise calisthenics and love swimming, you're active, you're taking action, you're keeping fit. So let's talk about this question here. People always ask me this all the time, because when they say, how come you don't lift weights, or you think lifting weights is bad? No, lifting weights is great. I would always recommend, like with my clients, I've trained thousands of people at this point. I express the benefits of both. I always try and have them start generally. Let's say they don't have any they don't need any rehabilitation or whatever, something like that. I always have them start with calisthenics. Why? Because I'm not going to give you any external load if you can't already control your body. If you can't perform a squat, I'm not going to put properly without weights. I'm not going to put weight on your back. To, you know, you increase the weight, you increase the risk of injury. So everything has its place, right? You put snow tires on your car when you need to drive in the snow. Different things, you might have different goals. If you're like, hey man, I need to get bigger legs, I'm not going to recommend to someone who wants bigger legs to do only calisthenics. It's not the best way to do it. Now, we could get really technical and talk about all the genetic factors and blah, blah, blah. But generally speaking, the best way if you want to achieve a goal like hypertrophy, building muscle quickly, for bodybuilding to get on a stage and flex and stuff, I wouldn't say, hey, let's do calisthenics. Now, if you want to do handstands and do pistol squats and you want to do backflips and you want to do human flags, the best way to achieve that is by using calisthenics as your base, right?
Yes.
But, whereas again, doing weightlifting can help you further enhance those things. So it's like you feed, pull, depending on what the goal is. So to me, there's no better, no worse for me. I just enjoy calisthenics because I can do a handstand anywhere. I can do a human and it's just cool, and people think it's cool. And not only that, I look like I lift weights. I do weighted calisthenics. So I do weighted pull-ups, weighted push-ups, and whatnot. But I just have a lot more fun doing calisthenics. That is just a lot more fun to me. Yeah. So I would say, coming back full circle again, action, or what's the conclusion? Preference. It depends on what it is that you prefer to do. There's no right or wrong. Hey, you're not doing calisthenics, you're stupid, or like you lack basic human knowledge. No, that's just not what you like to do. You might like doing martial arts, that's still body weight, but it's not actual calisthenics training. You might like swimming, that's body weight, you're still doing body weight. Swimming through the water is a body weight movement. Lifting weights is still body weight movements, but it's kind of like the base of everything is calisthenics, which is why I'm like, focus on the basics first. If you prefer not to continue doing it, whatever. But I always say, no matter what, even if you want to just do weightlifting, put in calisthenics somehow, somewhere. Keep the joints healthy, psychomotor skill development, functional strength. Like, see, you're hanging off something, you might be strong as can be, and you can't pull yourself over, and you might need to do like a muscle up movement to get over something. To me, it's very functional. There's a lot of real world application, and just like keep having deep core strength. Calisthenics, I don't work my core directly, but I could take shots to the core all day. I could hold handstand for over a minute, do 15, 20 handstand push-ups, and that's without lifting weights. So it kind of, and I could still, because someone tested me like, yo, but I bet you can't bench. I went to the gym and I still bench.
Yeah.
You know, so, and they're like, nah, there's no way. I think it was 3 plates for something like 4 reps. And that was after not doing, like, I never actually trained, you know, bench press.
Yeah.
So, the fact that like, nah, there's no way you did that and you don't lift weights. I'm like, have you ever done a planche before? Have you ever done planche push-ups? Yeah, I'm a heavy guy, and after doing that stuff, you can imagine how that would translate into, you know, pushing some weight. So know better, just preference, and know what your goal is. So forget the preference thing, like know what your goal is. Number one, know the goal.
Okay.
If you want to be a bodybuilder, I wouldn't recommend you do calisthenics strictly.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's it. Jack, that was good, man. Thank you.
No problem.
Guys, health is wealth.
Yeah,
Get money.
I got a gift for you too.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Wait a second.
Yo, shout out to Jack, man. Shout out to Jack.
It's, you know this, right?
Oh, shoot.
pretty
Oh,
cool.
man, this dude is a realist, bro. Yeah, man.
Because this is
Oh,
my
that's-
friends. He made it and he gave it to me.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
And you're giving it to me? Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I'm going to have to put this to use, man.
Yeah.
Y'all going to see us in the next video for sure,
Yeah.
man.
Just cross the bar and
And
Yeah,
you
pull
do
up.
a pull-up, front
Yeah,
levers. This is good,
Yeah,
man.
good.
And training different types of grip.
yeah.
Thank you, Jack. Yo, I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate it.
Okay.
There you go.
So that's it.
That was great, man. That was great. See y'all later.
See you guys.
Oh man, I'm definitely gonna put this